My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2 for episode 3 of the Old Canada Let's Play series. Before I get started with today's plans, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody, as overnight I hit 81 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing, really appreciated, and I just want to say a big thank you to everybody and just let you know that it is greatly appreciated. And I thank you for your support, and hopefully long may it continue. Now, in terms of today's episode and plans for today, we're starting here at is it Cochrane? I forgot the name of the town. Cochrane. At Cochrane Cargo Station. Obviously we set this up in episode 2, and we started 2 trains running logs from a logging camp up in the hills over there. I think that was Bottrell. And they were dropping off logs here, and we had a shuttle service of sorts with a few horse-drawn carts picking up the logs to take them down to the sawmill just in town down here. Now, off camera, while I was waiting for money to accumulate so I could get more done in this episode, I did add more vehicles to various lines just to try and improve the line rates and frequencies and whatnot. You may remember, I think we started off with just 4 wagons on this line, and I've increased that to, I think it's 20. So that's increased our throughput in terms of the logs getting to the sawmill, which is excellent, and it's also still profitable. So let's bring up the UI. If I press the right button, there we go. As we can see, we have 8 million available for this episode, and you may have noticed a slight change here. We have a second stretch of track at this cargo station, which wasn't there in the previous episode, and that is something of a clue as to what I'm planning on achieving today. What I want to do is set up a service that will pick up the planks that are produced here, and it will run them along the top of this ridge before slowly and gently cutting in and downwards to this level with this road here, and then we want to bridge over the river, and we'll make a start on our grand cargo station here, where we're hoping to bring in all these raw materials, maybe not the wheat, as this is being serviced quite nicely by these trucks, but all the other raw materials, and obviously get these final goods shipped on to the various cities around the map that require them. That's the plan today. So we're going to have to start with, it might be fairly small, it's obviously probably going to expand over time, but we will have a cargo station here, and all being well, a line that connects up to Cochrane, and we can start getting the planks dropped down this way. So we can make a start on that now. I have the date paused while I was accumulating money, so I'll set that to half speed and we shall press on. So as you can see, I've made a start on a second track at this cargo station. Let's finish off configuring this. We're going to want some platforms. If I click the right tab, to service this second track here, which is obviously going to be designed to take the planks away where they are needed, which at the moment is the industrial park over by Calgary, but there may be other places on the map where we end up shipping them later in the game. But for now, they're just going to have the one destination. What we're also going to do is these trucks here are going to be multi-purpose. They're going to take the logs down to the sawmill, and then they're going to pick up the planks on the return journey and drop them off here for our awaiting train to ship off towards Calgary. So that means one line is doing 2 jobs, and it should make them even more profitable because they're not doing a dead run where they're making no money on the way back. So that's always a bonus. But for now, let's focus on getting this line set up. So the first thing I want to do is join this line into the existing line up here somewhere. Perhaps just right about here should do quite nicely, like that. And that allows us plenty of space to join in extra tracks in the future if this station expands. It may not do, but it's nice to have the option there. I'm going to put a two-way signal here, although I don't believe it's ever going to be used, but in the future it may be. So again, just to protect ourselves on the off chance, I'll stick the signal in. But for now, let's focus on getting this line heading to where we want it to go. Okay, it's given us a tunnel. I guess then the land rises up somewhat here. Now, I'm reluctant to increase the height of this track too much because in the very near future we're going to be heading downwards, and to go up to come down doesn't make that much sense. So what I might try and do instead is, there we go, take it a bit further off to the right to necessitate the need for a tunnel, negate the need for a tunnel. And we've also then hopefully started making our way downwards, try and follow the land gradient as best we can. Obviously we do need to reduce our height, that's unavoidable, that's the plan, but I don't want to do it too aggressively so our trains aren't going to struggle when they're on their way back for a new load of the planks. So how does that look? What sort of gradient is that? That's quite steep actually. Let me see if I can just take some of the harshness off of that. Yes, maybe take some of the curve off as well. Like that. We are still heading down, but we're going at a gentler pace, which means that our early era trains, they're not going to find this as tortuous as they otherwise may do. Let's have a look here, just eyeballing this. I think what would be a nice feature or mod, if it's possible, is a protractor sort of mod where you can actually, it gives you a readout on the angle of your elevation. That might be a nice little feature. It'll help you deal with gradients. But for now we have to eyeball it. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. Now we do want to start heading a bit further this way because we are going to run out of space if we don't. Just take that up just a touch. There we go. And I think soon we're going to cross the road, and I think we'll probably bridge the river here where we have this what looks to be quite a shallow portion of the river for no other reason than I imagine in real life that's where they'd look to build the bridge. So let's do that now. So we want to be at this, because this level here looks to be pretty level with the industrial park. We can verify that. So what we're here, about 117 meters, and over here, yes. So we want our bridge to terminate at this sort of gradient. So if we do it from this side, like so, and ask him to stay flat, that should, I can't tell if that's navigable because the water's not very deep. I assume it would be, it's got quite a large arch. So if we build our bridge just something like that, so we know where we're aiming for, and then we know how we want to bring our track down as well. Now I'm guessing that's going to be quite steep. Indeed it is. Although I do like the idea of tunnelling under this road. It means we have less disruption for any traffic heading down here, which at the minute is none, but that obviously may change in the future. So what I'm going to do is, rather than building it like that, I'm going to come out this way instead. Try and keep a decent speed here. Maybe like that should do. 70 miles an hour is nice and quick. And then don't stay flat, but perhaps come up a little gentler. Maybe like that. Yes. Take this track back the way, and then we'll connect from the tunnel into this track, and we'll see what sort of gradient that would require. Just eyeball it. It is a little steep. Yes, perhaps. No, yes. I'll accept that. And then we're have a nice little bit of tunnel action as well. We're not disrupting this road, and we have a decent speed on this curve to the waiting tunnel there. So now let's start on the cargo terminus station. I'll just go for 2 platforms for now, but I am tempted to go for the maximum length, like this. I'm turning that the wrong way. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't. Oh, there we go. If we put the station there, we connect to all of the industries at once, which is perfect because chances are it will end up serving all 4 industries in the future. And then let's see. Now, this is going to be quite an aggressive curve to get to there. So it begs the question: would we be better tunneling over here and then linking in from this tunnel onto the new bridge? That might be a better option. Yes, I think I'll go for that. Okay, let's do it. Let's commit. Delete this. Unfortunately, we're outside of the window to get a refund. But we have a decent amount of money that it shouldn't cripple us too badly. And now let's connect. That's a bit too snaky. Let's take him back even further. I'd prefer the track not to snake. There we go, that's better. Happy enough with that. And then we have a connection into here, which we are going to rename to Calgary Industrial Park, I think. I think that's the best way to describe this setup here. Excellent. I think for now we're only going to want 1 train operating on this line. So we'll not do any double tracking, and we also won't need any signals just yet. Now I will just do a quick connection here like this as well, so our train can come straight out this way rather than having to go here and turning around in that station. This will be one way because no trains are ever going to head back into the depot. They don't do that. And let's get a line set up for this plank shipment. So we want to start here and we are heading here. Now we want a plank colour, which is, I'm going to say that, no, perhaps that one. No, that's a bit too green. We'll go for that one. Now we want to make sure he is only loading the planks here, because he could, if he wanted to, start loading the logs, and we don't want that. So there we go. And here you don't load anything. Wait until full, but again we'll set a maximum stop time of, I'm going to say 1 minute, 60 seconds. That should give him enough time to pick up a full load if one is available here. And let's quickly give him a more appropriate name, such as Planks Freight, Cochrane to Calgary. There we go. Now we can purchase a train, or in fact first we can amend this line to ensure that these wagons, as discussed, now start picking up any planks that he produces and dropping them off up here. So let's manage this line. Okay, we want to change that. You are going to start unloading at the cargo hub, and we want to make sure you load planks here. Again, we'll do load full if available, but we will change the time to 30 seconds. I believe that's what we have it set at the station. Yes, it is. There we go. And we'll just quickly name this to logging and planks. Or if we call it lumber, that kind of works for both items, doesn't it? Lumber haulage. Okay, that should now start producing. So let's get our train. Now, we also unlocked the Baldwin in the previous episode. That costs 171,000 a year, and the General we are running is 100,000 cheaper. We also have the Jupiter and the Leviathan, which are more powerful than the General, so I might give one of these a wheel just to see what they're like. And I think I will go for the Leviathan 440. So let's go ahead and pick one of those. And wagons, so I was miles away there for a second. Planks, which it is going to be a flat car, but may as well make use of it, because why not? And for now, we don't need many, perhaps just 6 will be more than enough. Let's check how he handles the slopes. I don't think we have any high gradients, so 30 miles an hour minimum speed, or yes, on the medium. 31 mile an hour maximum speed is acceptable, so let's purchase that, and we will assign him onto the planks freight line. Now, this means we should start seeing this kicking out some lumber, and these trucks collecting the lumber to drop off at the station. Okay, they haven't. Oh yes, of course. He was waiting for a load which wasn't forthcoming because we had no logs in storage. But now this should balance out quite nice, and this should start producing. And these trucks should start collecting if I have set it up correctly. Not sure it's doing what I hoped it would. Then we just have a... In fact, I'll pause the date and I'll just let the time run for a little while, because it might... Oh, there we go. Now it's started. However, I probably want to address the wait time, because we don't want the logs, the incoming logs, to be backed up here. So let's manage the line, and we'll adjust the timings here to... Can we put it in manually? Yes, you can. 15 seconds. So we'll halve the wait time. So chances are they won't take a full load, but I'd rather have them moving a little bit more swiftly rather than, you know, waiting forever and preventing any new log arrivals from actually being delivered. So we'll keep it at 15 seconds, and then we'll keep an eye on it and see what sort of effect this is going to have on our spacing for these wagons here. As we can see, our train has just arrived. Let's have a look at him. If you just slow the time down so we can have a look in our own leisure. So here's the Leviathan. Wow, that is extremely shiny there. Nice bit of brass work. So this is the Leviathan. Obviously a similar model to the General that we have hauling the logs. I like the decal on the tender. Not a bad looking train at all. What would it look like if we were to edit the train and give him a colour scheme, I wonder? Well, if we click the right thing we can find out. Let's have a quick look. Let's see what that looks like. Nope, not having that. So let's manage the vehicle and remove that paint scheme. That's better. Yes, that didn't look right at all, did it? So we'll keep him in his natural livery. Okay, this queue has dissipated a little because there was about an extra 2 or 3 trucks on here when we last checked, so that's good to see. And these all do have at least some planks on them. Yes. We have our first few waiting for the train, and he's taken our first few with him. Now it's going to take a while for me to figure out the correct line balance here, whether we need more trucks or maybe playing about with the wait times a little. But that is all part of the game, and it's something we can, you know, I did the last balancing off camera, as I mentioned. I'll probably make a point of trying to balance this one on camera, so I can basically talk through my logic that I use when I come to line balancing. But for now, we can move on and start thinking about what we want to do next. So we have this being supplied and the bread itself being taken into Calgary, and we have this being supplied. Do any of the Calgary districts need tools? No, they do not. Where is the nearest town that does? I believe it's Iricana. I tried to remember, I didn't remember. So we can plan a way to get some of the tools delivered up here. We are fairly flat up here. There's a few little hips and dips, but nothing overly dramatic, although this is quite a sharp drop onto this little plateau here. But we can work around that. And of course we have a bridge over the river already. And I think we have enough room here where we could have a branch this way towards Iricana and look to start getting the tools shipped out that way. That's the next logical step, or we could go for a passenger line. We could say set up a line what's going to serve, service Calgary, with a link to perhaps Airdrie or Iricana. I'd say not Chestermere, that could be done by a bus or tram service. Or we could go to Okotoks. But that's, yes, I think, yes, doing a passenger line wouldn't be a bad idea. Speaking of passengers, let's just have a quick look how our buses are performing. So, some are profitable, some are not. The bus connection service from Calgary to Pridis is not profitable. So, I'm going to make a point to get rid of a few of the vehicles on that line, because clearly we don't need this many on this line. So if we get rid of 2, and I'll pick 2 at random, doesn't matter which 2, and we'll just have the 4. Where are they? Looks like they're all in southwest Calgary, so the spacing on those buses wasn't great. In fact, we have 2 at the station here. Yes, they're not very well spaced out. I'm going to get rid of 1 more, and we'll just have the 3, and I think that, for now, that should be enough. I mean, look, he's empty. And where's the other bus on this line? It could be anywhere. There, we have one passenger. So let's just head back here. As we can see, the queuing has now gone entirely. How many planks do we have here? 24. I don't believe our train is on the way back yet. No, he's just departing with the looks of it. He probably didn't make much money on that first delivery. He only had 2 units of planks. Let's have a look how much he did make on that journey. Just 33,000. Obviously he's going to have quite a few more waiting for him on his second journey. He has a capacity of 42, and at the station we have 26. I don't think there's going to be a full load waiting for him, so we might want to perhaps drop a wagon off the back of the train, but we'll judge that when he arrives back and we can see exactly what sort of load is going to be waiting for him. So we'll speed up the time. Oh, I've still got the date paused. We'll keep it paused because we've got acceleration on. and we'll wait for him to come back, and we'll see just how many are waiting for him and whether he has too many wagons. Okay, so he's just arriving back on platform now, and we have 45 waiting. So he has enough wagons. If anything, he'd probably get away with one extra, but I don't mind having a little bit left on the platform. So I'll probably keep it to just 6 for now. And off he goes now with a full load, and we can see what sort of money he's going to make when he's fully loaded. Things are still looking good down here, which is good to see. The wagons are a bit bunched on this little stretch, but I think that might just be because of this gradient that they're struggling with up this hill, which is unavoidable, obviously, in the future when we have slightly more powerful vehicles available to us. This should become less of a problem, and it shouldn't be impacting our rates as negatively as it is now. Let's just check the rates, shall we? So our logging freight trains deliver 129 per year, and these, I guess that probably also includes a shipment of planks back here. But for now they match up. I don't think that means this is going to run empty, because I'm sure this is also going to include the plank delivery as well. So there probably is a way to separate the two with a bit of mathematics, but I'm not sure what the correct formula would be. So I'm just going to eyeball it here, and then if we ever see this empty, we know we have too many trucks here. But for now it seems to be pretty good. I mean, we're getting a full load for our trains and then some, and we always seem to have a decent amount of logs here. At first this was overflowing, and obviously adding extra wagons onto this line means it doesn't overflow as often, although I imagine we have a full load here and there's not enough space for a full load on here. Not that it impacts how much money you earn from the drop off, it just means that some of the logs that are dropped off, while you get paid for them here, you're not going to get paid for them there because they're wasted here, if that makes sense. So while it isn't ideal, it also isn't the end of the world. Okay then. I'm just looking now where I would like to put in the passenger station. Now I think having one for each suburb of Calgary is probably going to be overkill. So I'm leaning towards having a large station that would service all of them, or perhaps two. One to service, say, these three, and one to service, we'll say, these three as well, so the residents in the centre of Calgary have an option as to which station they prefer to use. So we could have one station up here, perhaps not on the hill, but in this sort of area anyway, and one, say, out here. And then for the people in Calgary Central, we can have a dedicated tram service that runs from the city, or this district, to the station and back, much like we did several times in our Coventry map, which seemed to work okay. If you cast your mind back, the Gillingham Metro, which serviced centre of Gillingham and the train station, that was always in high demand and proving popular, so we know it works. So that's probably the option I'm going to lean for. And I've just noticed we have a snake in this track here. I'm going to fix that because it annoys me. So if I take him back, yes, the line is going to be a bit annoyed for a few moments. Is that still snaking? It's hard to tell with those numbers on there. No. Yes, a little, but it's not as bad. However, I'm still going to try and get rid of the entire snake. Let's have a look now. That's better, yes. Not that it had any sort of impact on our train, because it was still full speed track, 75 miles an hour, even on the snaky windy part. However, just from an aesthetic point of view, it's nicer when the trains just run straight as they would do in reality. There is a slight kink just here, but I can forgo that. I don't want to get too OCD. Okay, well, I think for now we'll draw this episode to its conclusion. We got one new line set up, which is always promising, and in fact no, we'll not do it yet. What we'll do is we'll hop on board. Oh, has he just arrived? Yes. I was going to say we'll hop on board and see how much money he's going to make with a full load, but perfect timing, he has just arrived. So let's wait a moment and then see what sort of money he is going to make. $695,000, so I imagine he's going to be a nice profitable line for us, much like the logging haulage line is as well. I'm just filling in the grass in between the tracks here because it looks a bit strange having grass growing between the tracks on what is meant to be a fairly busy station. I'll do the same here as well because we have the grass just showing through there. And in fact I'll probably, just while I'm doing my outro, go the whole way up here to where the merge point is. Now yes, as I was saying, this is looking like the conclusion of this episode, episode number 3. In terms of what we're doing next time in episode number 4, it's going to be a choice between either trying to set up a passenger line somewhere or running those tools out to, was it Irikana, I believe was the name of the city. I might be misremembering it once again, but it'll more than likely be some more train action because the trains are your bread and butter in this game. So we want to have as many as we can and as much train action as we can. So yes, just have to make a decision what we are going to do next, whether we go to Irikana or whether we're going to go to Irikana, I think, but whether we do it via passenger line or having a freight line run out there and start shipping some of the tools. I think the tools would make us the most money, so that's probably what I'm going to do. So we'll have to figure out how we want to get our line from here over there, because where this track is now it's quite low and Irikana's sat up a bit higher, and there's going to be some tunnels involved because we're going to have to tunnel under here and then make our way upwards, and we don't want an excessively long tunnel. If we can come out somewhere around here, that should be fine. But yes, as I said at the start of the episode, I just want to say it one more time, thank you to all my subscribers. You are brilliant, and it is brilliant. Everything's brilliant. So all that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.